let's see if I can add Stan in here. Just got in here under the
Wait a
last
minute,
second.
this ain't Leeds
No,
Fan
last second.
TV. Where am I?
Last second. Welcome everybody. This is Arsenal Fan Circle. Welcome to the Sunday show. Pull up a chair. There's all sort of squeaky noises going on. Pull up a chair. You're all welcome here. And Tony has picked a shirt that's not as loud as it was on Thursday. Thankfully, we're happy with that. Welcome, Tony and Sam up top. And Mr.
How'd
Tom,
that guy down there sneak in?
he got here in the last second. He was in the backstage. You know, Stan only come to the
I'm
stage.
talking about Tom, not Stan.
Okay.
Talking about a Leeds fan.
I invited Tom this morning, and as the game transpired, started to think about what I was going to say to Tom. It's okay if you don't want to come on, Tom. It'll be okay. If you don't know,
Then they got a red card.
Tom's team Leeds were 2-0 down at halftime and needed an injury time equalizer. But those injury time equalizers and winners are good things, Tom, aren't they?
To be fair, because I was conversing with Sam for a fair bit during the game, and I think Sam will concur that I wasn't the most angry of individuals. It was just more disappointed that it was going to be yet another third round cup exit against a team that realistically we should compete with and beat.
Yeah.
But it weren't looking like. To be fair though, the second half, the substitutions got made, and then we just laid siege on them, quite frankly. And I could see if I don't talk to Cardiff fans, why would I? Fuck them. But at the same time, I'd be like, if Cardiff fan went, we should have won that game, I would have gone, yeah, you're right, you should have won that game. But I was happy that we didn't lose, ultimately.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit more. I think Stan is getting himself set up. Sam Greenwood. There's a Leeds link there somewhere, right? Sam Greenwood.
Yeah, I played for Leeds today. I didn't have my best of games, to be honest. I wasn't like my best. I had a couple of shots that went wide. I had some decent passes. Wasn't too bad. But no, not my best of games for Leeds, to be honest. Playing in a deeper role now.
The other thing, Sam,
should probably stay off Twitter while you're playing, shouldn't you?
I probably should. Definitely, yeah. Definitely while I'm shooting and stuff.
The other thing, Sam, is we as Arsenal fans, as Tom was talking about, we're familiar with third round exits in the last few years. We've had a few of them. Sam?
Have we had many of those? I know we was Nottingham Forest last year, but have we had many third round exits?
I think we lost to Nottingham Forest as well a couple of years ago under Emery.
Stan looks like he's ready for a sports broadcast.
Yeah.
We've
had more than we can remember.
Wow, do people do sports? Do people do sports broadcasts from their bed? I understand the correlation.
Down to the Playboy Mansion, to be
honest. That's what he's dressing gown on.
I'm in bed.
Well, nice of you to join us from your bedside as well.
Thank you for joining us, Hef.
All right, let's welcome a few people in here. Thunder Road has said Uncle Ray versus Nephew in the next round. Nephew is Manchester City. Unfortunately, we did draw Manchester City, but if you're going to win the cup, you have to beat the best. If we're not the best, City may be the best. So we're going to have to face them. Is the twin sister a Gooner? No, more likely Liverpool, actually, Thunder Road. So I'm trying to convert them to Arsenal. I think they're too far gone.
You've got a twin sister?
He has a twin sister, the nephew. So my nephew is a City fan, and he's actually going to the Villa game in February. Going to Manchester. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. BX Gunner, thanks for joining us. Evening all. That's a pelter of a panel indeed. All-star lineup. You know, we are waiting for one more. I mean, he may not join us though. Usman. Tony might remember Usman from.
I like Usman.
Is that the guy that was spent 15 minutes brushing his hair while he was talking on the podcast and then put a hat on?
Yeah, but in fairness, we've all done things. We've all.
I know me and Stan were like memorized it. He just kept brushing his hair, then all of a sudden on came my hat. Me and Stan both were like, first comment was like, why did you just spend 15 minutes to brush your hair to put a hat on? But
I wonder if you bring in his dinner with him this time as well.
Disappointed with that shirt, says Stefan. Tony, I'm actually Stefan. I'm okay with the shirt. The shirt should not be the loudest thing on the podcast. You know what I mean? It should be one of our voices.
Hijacked an entire show.
Completely. I mean, we all went for a little bit, Tom. After about 2 hours, we were ready to do the puns.
Ray was like, "Did we talk about football for 30 minutes?" He's like, "No, fuck it.
It's
let's talk
it's
about
my
the shirt."
fault. It's my fault. I encouraged it. But I'll put my hands up. It's at least 30% my fault because I was well in on just.
Yeah.
I had my book of Chuck Norris and Mr. T-Fax ready to go.
What about Stefan and BX? You're not giving them full credit there.
I did.
That's why I
Yeah,
said
exactly.
30%.
No, I was
Everybody-
talking about Tom, not you. Right?
Everybody joined in. And we're going to call, he's called Tony the Shirt. That's, or if you want to just call him the Shirt.
So he
Yeah,
did.
Give myself the lowest percentage, Tony.
The mafia name, Sam. Tony the
Show
Shirt.
you the shirt.
You know that
definitely.
guy, Tony the shirt. You know the one, that guy, Tony the shirt. Yeah, that guy.
Show you the sheep.
You're not
He's got money
Usman.
too.
Show
You're
you the
not
sheep.
Usman.
Hello.
You cut your hair, man.
Thought I would just jump in real quick.
Where the heck are you at, Gary?
I can barely hear you guys. I don't understand what's going on. This thing's not getting the whole volume here.
Where
Where
you at,
are you?
Gary?
How you guys doing?
Gary's
Good.
doing a job swap with Stan right now. So Gary's on set and Stan's coming from the bedroom.
All right. I can't hear you guys. The volume kind of sucks on this thing.
All right, no problem. You can get your digs in now, everyone. You want to say stuff? You
What a
can.
wanker.
Well, it looks like I just saw that. It looks like we're going to probably have to play City if we win against
we don't
Oxford
care.
United. So that'll be
No
fun.
way. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
I'm going to go because I can't hear you guys.
All right, Gary.
There
Hi,
you go.
Gary.
Everybody enjoy the show.
He played that back when and go, what the?
Yeah,
You play
exactly.
this back, Gary. You know I love you.
After the Joel Bagan handball, Ali McCoy said on commentary, "What a save!" I
Yeah.
don't know. Anyone know about that?
He's the Cardiff player that got sent off.
Oh, okay.
Looks about 12 years old, didn't he?
Yeah,
It
Tony
was a
got
great
new
save.
shirt. And he looked like an Emi Martinez lookalike. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put that out there. Looked a little bit like Emi Martinez.
He
I
was
don't want
a
to
good
live
goalkeeper.
in my head. All right, Stan, ready to do commentary on Greenwood Forest versus Ross County. Yeah, up in the gantry, Stan. Panel, big up. Never forget Wrexham knocking Arsenal out of the FA Cup. Mickey Thomas free kick. That was 1991.
Yep.
We're gonna have a Kahoot show as well, Kahoot quiz as well. Whoever would like to be involved, be ready for that. Tony,
I'll
What
consider it.
championship team is that going to be about this week?
it's an FA Cup theme.
What about Oxford?
Okay.
All about Oxford.
Might be a whole quiz about Oxford. You never know.
I'm trying to make it so Tom doesn't win, Sam. You know what I mean? Tom knows a lot about
You'll
many things.
never beat Tom's encyclopedias. You know that.
Never. Tony's takeover is going to be very clandestine this week. Shrewd move, Tony.
I'm gonna be a sneaky cunt.
Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Thanks for being here as well. Great win for Stevenage.
Yeah.
Got a call out as well, Stefan. 4-1 win, Ipswich Town, Rotherham. They now have to play Burnley.
Burnley, yeah.
Burnley. Have a home tie to Burnley though, so that's not bad, right? As draws go, it's better than the Etihad.
Could have been
You know
a lot
what?
worse for him. Yeah.
We have to, Sam, the Etihad. If we get through Oxford, right?
We'll go to the Etihad and we'll lose.
Oh, come on! I thought you'd give me a little bit more than that. Come on.
What are you talking about? You're the top team in the country. Why are you fearing anyone?
Yeah.
You're 5 points clear. You're at the top.
I
You're
just
at the
say it's
top
the
of
FA
the
Cup.
We
mountain
gotta win
right
tomorrow
now.
first.
I mean, there will
No, even
be
if you lose tomorrow, you're top of the mountain.
there will be extenuating circumstances like the league. Will we need to prioritize the league? Because we're going to play City 3 times in a matter of weeks, FA Cup and 2 league games. Maybe not the second league game. I'm not sure, but yeah. Stan, what are your thoughts on Manchester City if we get through Oxford?
We've got to concentrate on the league, innit? We've barely got enough players to field in the league.
Yeah.
So I just think that that's where the importance has got to go, and we keep playing the backups in the FA Cup and see how far they can get. What I don't like is, you play like a young team and then you get to like a quarter final and a semi final, and then you just rotate them for the full team. I'd rather let them see how far that they can get. Let them try and earn something out of it.
Yeah.
If they can get through to a final, great. If they get knocked out, they get knocked out. It's on them.
That's basically what Wenger did most of the years. Just
see, I'm going to differ a little bit. I want, starting tomorrow against Oxford, I want to play some of our first team players that need the minutes, need some.
Something like Vieira. If you count Teabag as a first teamer, then why isn't he going to play? It costs us £35 million. He's on the bench for the Premier League. He should be able to glide onto the pitch at Oxford.
We're allowed to say Teabag as much as we want on this.
I know, Stan. Give
it
up. Gary's not here.
Yeah, listen.
Frown at you.
I think we should use it because we're going to go 2 weeks without playing before a Northland derby. We need to keep players match fit, tuned up, and all that good stuff. So I think we should have a reasonably strong team tomorrow.
I think Saliba needs to play.
Yeah, I agree with you. Saliba needs to play. Gabriel Magalhaes can take a rest. Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu.
I'd play Zinchenko. He's been out for a while, and he could probably do the minutes. Zinchenko, do you think? Tomiyasu is another one, isn't it? He's been a bit part.
Yeah.
Bung holding in there. It's just Saliba.
The bigger question is, do we play Eddie Nketiah, for a little bit as well? We lose Eddie Nketiah, and I realize he could get injured in training. He could get injured in warm-up before the game. But if we go without Eddie Nketiah, if we don't have Eddie Nketiah for the Northland derby, then we don't have a recognized striker up front, Sam. What do you think?
Well, there's alternatives, isn't there? We can use Martinelli through the middle. We can use Saka through the middle. There are alternatives we can use that are not really the alternatives we want to use, but yeah, of course, ideally we want to bring in. It's got squeaky doors there. We want to bring in someone. Of course we do, but it's going to be, like I said, we're not going to be. I don't think we're going to be bringing in anyone. I hope we bring in a João Felix. I'd like to bring him in, but I don't know. It's difficult. It's difficult in January.
I think we're all Arteta in right now. I mean, there's no reason for an Arteta out right now. Taib poking the bear. Surely Arteta will play Marquinhos and Vieira against Oxford. Yeah, I think that's a good shout.
Should.
Yeah.
Let's get the Leeds perspective. I mean, Leeds rotated a little bit, Tom, for this game today against Cardiff, right?
It was interesting you say that because, as I say, we've actually used Stan's idea for the last 6 years of you play your second string and then you see how it turns out. And it turned out that for 6 years, we lost in the third round, 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 and then we drew today. So, improvement.
Yeah.
After we bought on our £30 million striker. So,
all right, let's bring
in all seriousness.
Usman's here. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. We'll get Usman in. Finish your
Usman
thoughts,
made me
Tom.
do a flip.
He's freezing a lot.
Hi,
Usman.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. We've had you on before. It's been a little while since we've seen you. We got Stan beside you. We got Tom on the other side. We got Sam up top right and Tony in the middle top. So welcome.
Usman coming.
All right, Usman.
Red Light District. Is that where he's at?
Yeah, how's it going, everyone?
Doing well. We're gonna.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too, Stan.
How are you? Good?
All good here, mate.
Good. All right, Tom, just finish your thoughts on rotation for Leeds. We're going to get the Leeds
Yeah.
perspective as well.
Basically, we played well for the first 20. We basically played well until Cardiff scored. Like, we had control of the game. Basically had all the possession, all the territorial domination. They went down the other end and scored, and then all our youngsters put on their boo-boo faces and were basically like, oh, I don't want to start chasing down balls and things like that. Then we sent on Rodrigo, and mysteriously they started chasing down the football to the point where they resembled a competitive football team.
So you're in favor of having somewhat strength in your lineup for a cup game.
Another way I would put it is, I don't think. I think if you're going to play youngsters, you should still put your top scorer in the lineup if he's fit.
Okay. We've got one of them. Well, one. Odegaard's our top scorer now. But yeah, Usman, what we're just talking about tomorrow's game against Oxford in the FA Cup, and we're debating whether to rotate heavily, rotate a little bit, or not much at all. What are your thoughts?
I think we should go half and half in this game. Like not more than half of the first team players and half of the reserve players and youngsters. You don't want to put too many players in there because we still have a league game in Tottenham, I believe that's coming up next week. Yeah. So yeah, you just want to give some players an opportunity because I haven't heard Marquinhos' name in a while, haven't heard Fabio Vieira's name in a while. Some players that haven't touched the ball in a while. So yeah, just put those players in the team, see how they do, and yeah, it's like how we see it in cup games and Europa League games. It's an opportunity for players that don't really play that much to show what they can do and prove a point to not only the coach but to everyone else, saying that deserve to be in the first team, even if it's not in the starting 11. At least get a spot in the bench, so you might get an opportunity to become that super sub, make an impact, and eventually might put in themselves in the starting 11. So yeah, I just say half first team, half of everyone else, but not too much of the first team players. I say maximum of 4 or 5 players from the first team.
Okay. One thing I want to ask you: do you know the TV show Prison Break? Are you aware of it?
Yeah, I've heard of Prison Break, but I saw a couple of episodes.
So there's a character on that show called Teabag, and it's a very good resemblance to Fabio Vieira. So we affectionately call Fabio Vieira on this podcast Teabag. You can go with Fabio Vieira, as Gary wants to still call him Fabio Vieira, but we can call him Teabag as well.
The only reason I'm familiar with the name Teabag was because of Nuno Tavares, either on Instagram or on Twitter. When he joined, he just said, "Hi, Teabag, how you doing?" And I know that they're both Portuguese. They came from Porto and Benfica, so I don't know if they have a rivalry back in Portugal, and they're now in the same team. And hopefully nothing serious happens between. I'm just
uncanny how much they look like.
And he called him that. Tavares called him Teabag. That was after we'd been doing it. That wasn't something that we saw and started doing it. I actually reckon he tuned into the podcast.
You started.
Yes, Tavares is a regular viewer.
All right.
As he should be.
So Fabio Vieira or Teabag Usman will be one of the players we want to play maybe tomorrow. Would be in the lineup for me.
Yeah, I have him in the starting lineup because I haven't seen him in a while and still has a point to prove because his last few games I don't think they were that impressive, but someone could make the argument saying that he has not played a lot or has not played in a while, but now should be his opportunity to play and show he can compete with Odegaard because Odegaard is doing fantastic so far this season, and I'm happy with it because I know people have been saying a lot about Odegaard, saying, "Oh, he doesn't do this enough, doesn't do that enough," but now he's proven everyone that he can be part of that team. But enough about Odegaard. Yeah, I do expect to see Fabio Vieira in that team.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, it's great to have 2 players in there competing. Tony, Fabio or Teabag did come in around when we played Brentford. He scored a great goal in that game. Also scored a great goal in the Europa League. So he's had some flashes this season already.
Yeah, I think the World Cup break came at a bad time for him because he's starting to get some minutes finally.
getting on the strike.
and now he needs him now. So I'd play him every cup competition we have. I'd give him a start, see if he can move his way into the first team. But I think he definitely needs the minutes. I think probably more than anybody he does, except for maybe Saliba, because Saliba's looked rusty after his 23 minutes in the World Cup. He just not looked right. So he needs to run out, and Teabag needs to run out, and Stan needs to fix his squeakiness.
Yeah, when you move your laptop, you're squeaky. You've got it on some.
Crush the hamster under it.
Oh, that one went down my spine.
Ready
Move the hamster after you squish it.
There is an echo somewhere, so if somebody could just maybe we'll check who that may be. I don't know.
I know it sounded like you're broadcasting through a microphone.
Rest Saliba, White, Odegaard, Saka, Nelly. I think you should play Saliba. Rest White, rest Odegaard.
Bunganelli in there.
Martinelli too as well, yeah.
Bunganelli, I'd play. In there. Bit of
Play
Sam.
him a striker.
Might have to.
Usman, just check your connection there. You might be having a bit of an echo there. If you can just reconnect everything or what you can do. If you're plugged in.
An echo.
Turn down the volume maybe.
Isn't there somebody in the academy that plays up front that could get a run out? I mean,
That's
you know,
Stan in his smoking robe. Do you have the slippers to match? Looking very Hugh Hefner like there, Stan. Sam working hard with the Midnight Club. We can hear the noises. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping them at bay.
Okay, Tom, you wanted to touch on something in the Leeds game. I think it's probably a good time to let's get it all out in the open, get it out of the way. Tom, what did you want to talk about that happened in the Leeds game?
Right, while you're talking about the Leeds game, I'm just going to nip off for a quick poo.
Okay,
Yes.
4 minutes should do it.
That's a good metaphor because that's what I think of Cardiff. They're shit. That's a loaded question. I thought I'd already had my say about Cardiff. All right, I can make something up.
Oh, okay. Well,
Give me four
I
seconds.
thought you had more than that.
No. I don't know. It was
Man, like we
interesting.
should be more prepared.
You caught him off guard, Ray.
I'm always prepared. No, I thought I'd had my time, and then it was going to be another hour and a half of Arsenal. It's fine. It's fine.
No. This is not the trip. This is not the.
He invited you for more than 4 minutes.
It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate that. No,
I mean, it is an Arsenal podcast, but yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
You should be bearing down right now. Go ahead.
He might be burned.
Go ahead.
I'm not really going for a poo.
Right. So, I was quite disappointed with your boy Aronson because he played what 86 minutes of the match, something like that, and I don't think he controlled the game in the way that I would have expected a player of Champions League experience to control the game. Partly, possibly because he didn't have anyone to actually feed the ball to. Because I was disappointed in Willie Nonto because he's a diving fucker. Never a penalty in a million years, even for my own team. Never a penalty. But people are upset at you, Tony, because you're not.
Yeah, you know what? He's turned the camera off. We know what he's doing now. So do not come back with the same shirt, Tony. Or even do come back.
You know he's going to come back with that shirt.
Yeah.
He's been messaging me for the last 3 days and every other message is about that shirt. He's reliving the glory.
That is not true. That is not true.
It's totally true.
What was I gifting and telling him? What voice messages was I leaving?
All right, Tony, come on. We're
Nothing
going to
about
do
the shirt,
some
was it?
content today, Tony.
Oh, God damn it, Tate. Just go and put the shirt on. I know you want to. Right.
Sam, did I mention the shirt last night?
No, not much. A little bit.
Not much. Oh, but you did.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. I love
You
the
have any
shirt,
more to
Tony. I'm
say
just
about
worried you're
Leeds
going
and
to ruin
Cardiff?
the magic.
All right, Tom. Is that everything?
Yeah, like in the draw, we've got. Should we get through Cardiff?
You
We're
got
away at
Accrington
Bournemouth.
Stanley.
Yeah, and Boreham Wood, right? But people are, oh, you got a really good draw. I'm like, no, we're Leeds. We'll lose to Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood will beat us. Boreham Wood will beat us 1-0. I would have rather been drawn at Manchester City away, because then whatever happens, it's like as long as you're not 4-0 like Chelsea, you go out the cup, you go home, and you lick your wounds a bit, but you got your dignity. Whereas Bournemouth will beat us.
Yeah.
Like Histon beat us. A postman scored against us and knocked us out of the cup. We lost to Sutton. We lost to Sutton United in the round before you beat Sutton United in the pie match. We've lost to Crawley, where a reality TV star came on it with 5 minutes left, made one successful pass, but he's still on the team that won 3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. Who beat us last year? Oh, we lost to West Ham. That's semi-respectable, but not by much more. But point is, we're not a cup team. We don't aspire to be a cup team. Even if we'd have played our first team in all these matches, we'd have still lost them. Because we don't have the history of cups. Like I think we've been in 2 cup finals. Yeah, it's true, Stefan. Postman. That's the occupation of the man that scored against us for Histon in a 1-0 win. He was a postman, and he went back to work. He went back to work 2 days later.
So that's the charm of the FA Cup, though. You know. All right, so let's go through a few of the games yesterday, notable ones. We mentioned, Stefan, 4-1, Ipswich Town winning. Man United beating Everton 3-1. So Everton are out of the cup. Tottenham getting through 1-0 against Portsmouth. Yeah, they scraping through at home. So I don't think we should fear. We've got nothing to fear Tottenham in the North London derby when that comes up. Crystal Palace, Tony. Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 2. This is where Ainsley Maitland-Niles is going to start to do a madness, right? He's going to take Southampton all the way to the final, and they're going to win it.
Yeah, he's going to be an important key to them on their FA Cup run, like he was for us.
But where does this leave Patrick Vieira? I believe that Patrick Vieira should be given time, Tony, but
he needs time, but I don't know. I don't think they put too much energy into the game. It seems like all the Premier League clubs, for the most part, were struggling a lot more than normal here in the third round. So I wouldn't put too much into it. They're still in an okay position in the league. They had a tough start to the year with their schedule, and we'll see what happens further down the schedule for him. But I think his job's safe.
Yeah. Congratulations to Stan on his engagement. Congratulations.
Can I just clear that up
Yes,
a minute?
congratulations.
Can I just clear this up a minute? I've been engaged. We've been engaged for like 3 years. This is. It's just that because of the COVID and all that, we have to keep postponing the wedding, right?
Right.
So now we just finally agreed that we're going to try and get the wedding organised this year.
We can have it in Oklahoma, Stan.
Don't.
Indeed, why not? Come to the ranch. Have it in the barn. Have a hoedown afterwards. A little hoedown.
Getting away from his guns, though, will be the real.
Shotgun wedding.
Shotgun wedding. Billy Idol will play.
Sorry, can I just quickly ask, Mr. Usman, who do you support, sir?
Arsenal.
The mighty Arsenal.
It's a fair question, because clearly you don't have to support Arsenal to be on this thing.
No, you do, but it's just like Sesame Street.
No.
Tom. One of these things doesn't belong here. One of
You
these
have
things
to support
isn't his
Arsenal.
name.
Hey, don't talk that way about the handicapped. Sorry, Tony.
No, Tom, you do have to support Arsenal.
Why are
You
you picking on the handicap
clearly
guy?
do support Arsenal, Tom. It's okay.
I've never claimed to dislike Arsenal. You are the team of the top of the big six that I hate the least.
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually it's us ruining your season as opposed to anything you do to us. So
Yeah. All right.
wish it
So
regardless.
that's the FA Cup. Wrexham beating Coventry 4-3. That's an upset.
He's so shocked he froze.
Newcastle losing to Sheffield Wednesday. Sam
Yes,
Greenwood.
we like that.
Yeah. Following on from the events of, listen, we can be a bit salty, right? We're going to start mixing it with Newcastle a little bit. So let's start being a little bit salty. We don't know who our rivals are going to be in a year from now because it's not Liverpool. It's not Tottenham.
It's gonna be Newcastle for a long time.
Did any of
man.
you see the Newcastle game?
Yes. I saw the
Chris
highlights.
Wood's miss at the end. Chris Wood's miss at the end was criminal.
Yeah, indeed.
It had all the hallmarks of someone that's definitely played for my club. And he has. So
A wedding in
Can you go to
Oklahoma is like
citizen
Arsenal playing a
arrest
bowling
on
lane.
him, Tom?
All
I
right,
think
so
Tom needs to go do a citizen's arrest.
Liverpool had that the same referee we had on Tuesday, and a similar officiating mess by Mr. Matt.
That guy needs to go. That guy needs to find something else to do. He needs to stop refereeing, and he needs to go and work for, I don't know, Starbucks or something. I don't know.
Wolves were onside at the end, right?
Yes, I believe that was an onside
Yes.
goal.
He's
That
a
was
terrible
goal.
goal. I was going to say goalkeeper. A terrible referee.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I wonder who gave him the job. No, if you think about it, it's probably his mate from the bar. Is like, "Oh, mate, I heard that the FA are looking for a referee. All you have to do is drop the application on the website and you're sorted." I said, I cannot take this man
You got it.
seriously.
You got it from behind the bar.
Fast
You got
track.
the application form from the barman. Here, fill it out. Fill it
Yeah,
out.
just
Bob got his
full fast
license
track.
from the internet.
Yeah, probably
You'll
from
be
the
a-
bar, man.
You'll be a Premier League referee in 4 weeks.
I thought I'd go out from a temping agency.
No,
Yeah.
you don't need to know the rules.
From
man.
Manpower.
Battery's not included. Yeah.
From Manpower.
All
They
right,
didn't check his references. Let's put it that way.
That's the FA Cup, right? We'll see what happens. We're going to get past Oxford. It shouldn't be too difficult to get past them. We're going to play City, and we'll watch this space at the end of this month. We should be playing City at the Etihad, and we'll see what happens. I mean, Pep and Arteta are probably going to be very cagey when it comes to this. Can you imagine what kind of lineups they're going to put out? They're going to try and outwit each other with their third and fourth string players playing false nines and false eights. But
I was going to say that I think it's going to be like similar to what Sam said, except both of you will be doing it. It's going to be televised because of the club names, but ultimately it is going to be a televised reserve match.
Yeah.
So if Arsenal get through Oxford, then it is away to City. That's correct. Hendon Gunnar. Stefan, how many times?
Do you guys think it impacted the Man City Chelsea match? The fact that they knew they'd be playing Arsenal or Oxford with respect to them. Do you think that impacted the match all?
Nah,
Nah.
No.
I don't think so. Chelsea were absolutely rubbish, and Manchester City, from what I could tell, actually looked a bit better without using Haaland.
But if you look at it, look at how Man City were playing. It's like plan A was always get the ball to Haaland and he will score. It's very different to how they used to play last season, where they had someone else apart from Jesus play as their forward and still getting the business done. So the only time they scored was just a messy mistake from Arrizabalaga. And I'm not surprised because Chelsea are poor this season. They're absolutely poor. Like I hate Chelsea to my stomach, and I'm just glad. No, this was actually the one match I actually wanted to see Chelsea get a result because I knew Man City would get further away from us. But Chelsea, yeah. So the point is, Man City were not that convincing, and if they continue to play their idea of getting the ball to Haaland, that at some point it's not going to work, and hopefully we take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think we've been seeing a little bit of this. Usman, what have you been seeing from City and Arsenal so far this season in the league?
What I've been seeing from Arsenal, it's very very outstanding. Coming into this season, I had no idea this was going to happen at all. Man City, I expected them to do the same as usual every season. Now they have Haaland, they got better. And I always get asked by people, like, with Arsenal doing this well, do I think they're going to win the league? And I just say to them, no, I don't. And it's because of two reasons, and that is Arsenal always have a tendency to slip up when it actually matters. And two, Man City always have options. If one doesn't work, they can just bring one off the bench and use him. It always works for them. So I'm just waiting. Let's wait till March or maybe April and just see where things stand.
Yeah. At this point, we're going to wave goodbye to Tony, and the shirt has to leave. I don't think we'll see you back by the end of the show, Tony, because we're going to try.
I might be back.
Hour. We got 1 hour and 10 minutes, maybe at the most. We'll pick up the thread from there. Stan, all the things Usman picked up on. I think it's best to wait till March, Stan, because Eddie and Ketty has done well, right?
Wait till March talk for what?
To be more certain about Arsenal against City.
Well, I don't think so. They're not infallible. I think over 2 games, 3 if you count an FA Cup game, I think we can get something out of some of those games. I mean, we gave a good account of ourselves. Was it last season? And we went down to 10 men. Was it last season? Yeah. We were giving a very wasn't it Granit Xhaka that got sent off?
Gabriel
Megalex. We were given a good account of ourselves, and even when we went down to 10, we still managed to, look decent and hang in there. It wasn't like we went down to 10 men and they put 10 past us. So I don't see why I don't fear Man City. Obviously they've got Haaland, right? They've got Haaland in there as a goal machine. But as you've seen this season, they're not perfect. They do drop points. And why can't we nick a point or 2 off them?
Okay. I like the confidence. I dip either way. I go, I'm confident, but then I'm like, this is a City team that have done it over the years. But then I say to myself, yes, it's a City team that's done it over the years, and maybe they're wearing down a little bit. Sam Greenwood, what are your thoughts on the title challenge from Arsenal right now? Are you confident? Do you want to see a little bit more? Where are you at right now?
I think we're in a good place. I think it's very difficult to gauge where we're going to be in the next few weeks, but I think we're doing well. I think we just need to keep on going, one game at a time. Have that mentality, take each game at a time. Don't look forwards. Don't look at everything that's going around us. And it's been working very well this season. That mentality is obviously drilled into the guys now, and it's been working well. I think when you look at the Brighton and Newcastle results, I actually think they're pretty good results. I mean, especially Brighton. I mean, Brighton are smashing it this season. They're fantastic. I mean, compared to where they were with the end of when Potter left, Brighton are, a much better team. They're that new manager, I forget his name now, the Serzi, the Italian guy.
Yeah.
He's really getting them playing well, and you saw their last result. Now they just went after losing against us. They just went and smacked another team out of the way. I mean, Brighton go to Brighton and win and score 4 goals was a very good achievement. It shows that we actually did very well. And then even Newcastle, who are the best team in form this year, they've got better form than us. When you look at the calendar year. The team that's let in the least goals, the best defense, and we played them, and we should have actually won the game. We were unlucky not to win the game. Of course, they frustrated us and played very defensive. But at the end of the day, it was a good result. We played well. I think we need to be pleased with the performance and what we saw. And I think this is giving us a lot of encouragement going forwards because we're playing well and we're doing well. And with Manchester City, I think it's a bit of like the Cristiano Ronaldo effect for United. I don't think Ronaldo helped United at all. It changed the constellation, the chemistry, the way they played. They went from being a team, that played well together to just trying to funnel everything through one player, and it just strangled the way they played. It just completely changed the way they could, attack and play the game. So I think the same's happening with City, where they, there's that saying, be careful what you want, be careful what you wish, you might get it. They got a goal scorer, the best goal scorer in the world, but it's strangled play. It's taken away the dynamism and the different avenues of attack they had. They had a front line where everyone could score. Everyone was scoring goals for them. They criticised Jesus for not scoring so many goals, but that guy didn't look at him what he's doing for us. He doesn't need to score goals. He's part of the rest of the attack. Like Firmino was for Liverpool without being prolific. He just set it all up, and they've got all those players. Foden, Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez. They've got so many avenues of scoring goals. They didn't really need a Haaland, but they wanted a Haaland because they felt they needed that striker. And now when they play with Haaland, it all seems to have to go through him. They're all trying to look for him, whether it's actually tactically what Pep wants to do or the players subconsciously sort of trying to give him the ball because they know he can score. It's just it's putting them out of sync. They're not playing as fluid. When you look at Man City, the way they play this season, they are not as fluid in attack as they used to be. Yeah. And in defense, they've got some, it's not quite as tight as it used to be in defense. So you can get at them. So overall, Manchester City, they're still good enough. Of course, they're going to be pushing us all the way because they have that good a team, right? They're so deep in all areas. But I just think if we keep that mentality, one game at a time, and just keep going and going and going, one game at a time, take the next one, take the next one, take the next one, I think we'll be there at the end of the season. I really do.
What Sam was just saying there about, City and Haaland, it kind of reminds me a little bit of back in was it the 90s and that, when Newcastle were doing so well, and then they went out and added that one piece in Tino Asprilla, and it just seemed to sort of discombobulate the flow that the team had. You spend a lot of money on a player like Haaland, you got to play him, right? And you're going to expect him to score the goals, but it could be one of those ones where they finish second or third in the league, but individually, like Cristiano Ronaldo, he could probably finish the top goal scorer. So it's all right for him individually, the accolades, but he's not actually going to be, winning the big trophies.
Yeah, definitely. No. You mentioned Mahrez as well. He's coming forward now and staking a claim, as Usman said. We want Arsenal players to do, stake a claim to play in the first team, to get into that lineup of City more regularly. And I think you've both hit. Sam and Stan have hit on something really correct there. Haaland, there's been an adjustment to try to feed Haaland too much, or maybe adapt to him too much. And City have cast off Raheem Sterling, they've cast off Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko. So they're trying to find their rhythm as well. It may come for them in the second half of the season. They might start to figure things out. I think Mahrez is playing at a high level now. So probably going to see him in the league lineups more and more regularly. But for our side, we shouldn't fear this City team. We played them last New Year's Day and gave them a hell of a game. And we were talking about Gabriel Magalhaes. We succumbed to actually Gabriel Jesus being sent off, and now he's one of ours. He wears our shirt. So we should have every confidence that this new vibrant Arsenal team could go toe-to-toe with Man City. And maybe Liverpool have worn this City team down over the years, as Sam has said. They're not as strong at the back as they were, and they're not scoring as many goals, or they don't have the variety of goal scorers that they've had down through the years, which was the recipe for their success. Combine all that with Arsenal's huge improvement, where we've dropped something like 7 points now over the course of 17 games. It's going to be nip and tuck. It's going to be very tight in the next few weeks. Tom, what's your thoughts on it moving forward? And I'll just say we'll do Kahoot at the top of the hour for everyone who wants to get involved. I'll put the pin out in about 10 minutes. We'll do Kahoot just to let everyone know, top of the hour. Tom, what are your thoughts on the title race?
Well, nothing said about Man City was wrong there, but I think it's important to keep in mind that this time last year, the common thing said about that team was, yeah, they're getting goals from either midfield, but imagine what they'd win if they had a striker. And the subtext being in the Champions League, right? It would be like that team scores goals for fun, but when it came down to it, they didn't have someone that could bang enough goals in against Real Madrid. Which is what they're actually aiming for. Like, or put another way, in cup competitions and in your position in the league, the only way you win things is by beating that team. Not that team, like Gary says. I mean, Man City. Teams that generally win things is because they've beaten Man City at some point in it. Like Liverpool. Won the FA Cup because they beat Man City.
Yeah, and
Real Madrid
that
won the
includes
Champions League
beating
because
them.
they beat Man City.
That
Yeah.
includes
And
beating them
Liverpool won the
across all
title because they
competitions.
beat Man City. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
have
ha-
to go toe to
you're
toe
in a
with
fortunate
City.
position. You don't actually have to beat them. You just have to not lose to them
Yeah.
to maintain your gap.
As Stan had
So-
said a couple of podcasts ago, just almost match the results now. We've got this gap of 5 points. We'd like
Yeah.
to extend it, but you almost need to match what they've done, and they have to match what we've done. We went to Chelsea earlier in the season and beat Chelsea 1-0, and City were under pressure to beat Chelsea on their patch. They did do it 1-0 as well. So I'm looking at each and every fixture coming up, thinking, okay, Tottenham aside, because Man City seem to struggle against Tottenham and it's a derby for us. But every other game, you're going to say, well, would City beat Manchester United on their patch? Well, they already did 6-3. So that's a result that we need to get later this month at when Manchester United visit us at the Emirates. And let's not forget, revenge has to be on the cards as well, because they're that's the one team, Usman, that Manchester United fans are lording over us a little bit. We beat you at Old Trafford.
I despise them. The most. Again, anything against Man United would just make the whole weekend for me. Like, I have two siblings at home. They support Man United, so it's already.
Do
hard
they?
to deal with.
Do they really?
Yeah.
You want to put them in an orphanage or something? That's not right.
I wouldn't do that to them. They're family. But let me show you something worse. Something worse here.
Oh, what we got coming?
Well, it can't be worse than Tony's shirt, right?
Now, I'm not saying this
Not
thing's
much.
worse. I'm
What
not
is it?
saying this thing's worse because they survived. Remember, United. I'm just saying this is worse, but this is what one of my brothers want. So in my hand is a retro Manchester United 07 to 09 jersey, Champions League final 2008 in Moscow, where they won the Champions League
Right.
against Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he's got, look who it is, Cristiano Ronaldo on the back.
Cristiano also.
Have you got a car, Usman?
No, I
That's
don't
a
have
shame. You
car.
could have used that to clean it. Never mind.
I know, but just because he's 9 years old, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. The 17-year-old is like, I have to give it to him because he's big enough to take it. So yeah.
All right. I mean, that's unfortunate. Hopefully, some of the younger generation will start coming toward Arsenal again. Ray Anderson said that's why you can't look at each team's results. Everton drew 1-1 with City at City, then got smashed by Brighton the next week at their home. That's Everton. Everton got smashed by Brighton. Who mentioned it? Sam mentioned it, and Stan has mentioned it, I think, Stan, we underestimated because we haven't been in these title races. We underestimate a 4-2 result at Brighton. We underestimate that performance because we haven't been back in the 90s. We were in title races where we recognized this and we knew this was a title-winning performance. If we win the title, we're going to look back at Brighton and say, we played some lovely football to go 3-0 up and 4-1 up at Brighton. It's just that last goal took the tarnish off it a little bit, right?
Well, look at this. Look at the team that we have. I mean, Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko notwithstanding, we have a team of players that haven't won a league before. You know, they're in uncharted territory. So I think it's really good that we have a couple of people, even if they're not playing every week, they're still amongst the team to help guide us, because they know what needs to be done. They know what it takes to get to that to the top of the mountain, where people like Martinelli don't, Saka doesn't, you know, the defenders and that don't. So we need that. Aaron Ramsdale doesn't, you know. So I really want this team to figure it out together, and it's very possible. You know, in the same token, the Leicester team that won the league in 2015 or 16, how many of them had won the league before? But they found a way to do it together as a team. And this is something that I really like about this Arsenal squad, is that I really think that, you know, football really is a team game. You can have some great individuals. I mean, look at PSG, for example. But you really need to have a really good team base. And we seem to have that now. We do it. We win together, we lose together. There's no sort of like, it doesn't look like there's any little factions amongst the team, you know, little cliques, little groups. Everybody's got I bet they're all in a big WhatsApp group, you know?
Yeah.
Together. No little cliques, no little ones over here. They all look like they're sort of like all on the same page, and they all know what it is that they want. And I think that's half the battle. You know, we were talking about Cristiano Ronaldo at Man United. As great as a good player he is, and the amount of goals that he scored last season, everything had to go through him now, and it just changed. It changed everything. And for what? 500 grand a week as well.
Yeah. Usman, I think just a couple of comments before we start this Kahoot quiz as well, which will take about 10 minutes. So stick around for the quiz as well, and we'll be talking more after the quiz. But Usman, can you not see around the league teams that are making mistakes? Because we as Arsenal have made those mistakes in the transfers. We picked up the wrong types of players, and now we can see that Manchester United had been doing things in the wrong way. Maybe Ten Hag is going to get them on the right path. Chelsea are doing things in the wrong way. We can see the mistakes of other teams through what we've been living through the last 5 or 6 years.
I was told that the biggest opportunity for you to succeed is when everyone else is slacking off. So it's just obvious seeing what's happening with other teams. Like you said, Chelsea just doing whatever, not really sure what's really going on with them. Liverpool, like, they have not upgraded since they won the league or since they won the Champions League back in 2019. Getting players that they don't really need. Like, they did sign Cody Gakpo, who is a good player, but he's not what they needed. They only signed him because Luis Diaz is injured. But now if Diaz returns, like, what's the front three for Liverpool going to be? Like, everyone else is slacking off, which is what we need if we want to win this league. It's just, we have to look at teams like Man City, Newcastle, maybe Man United. Have to look out for them, maybe Tottenham as well, because really all it takes is to slip up one game or two, and you see yourself falling way behind. So it's still early days in this whole title race. It's still early days. Still have to go down a bit, like 6, 7, 8 games, just to see where we're really at in this situation. So I'm not going to say we're going to win it. I'm just going to keep it open and just see what happens.
Yeah. Final question before the Kahoot quiz to Sam Greenwood. We're going to get over halfway in a couple of games. And pressure might, you start going to tick the games down. Pressure is going to increase a little bit. I haven't seen anything to tell me that we couldn't deal with this, but it's there, right?
I think we've seen so far this season that we've got players that can, handle pressure. We've been in a situation several times where we need the 3 points. We've seen the other team drop points, and we know we need points. It's even a tough game we're playing in, and we managed to get through that and get those points. I just think we've seen it again and again this season. We've got a very strong mentality and winning, instinct in our team. The players we brought in, like Jesus, Zinchenko, Odegaard, our captain, from Real Madrid. They have a very winning instinct. They just want to win, and just and all of them are mentally very strong, right? So I think I do think we're in a good place. We've got some tests coming up, but that's the way it is, right? I mean, you can't get past that. You have to get those tests done and get them under your belt. And I think the toughest game we've got coming up, apart from the Manchester City game, of course, that's going to be a big game. I think Manchester United, they're looking really good, as Usman said at the moment. They're looking really good. They're really in form. They're climbing the table. They're probably going to be challenging maybe at the end of the season, depending on how the games go and everything. But they might end up challenging us. So I just think I think we're mentally capable of doing it. Yeah, I think we've got strong enough mental attitude to do it.
All right, very good. We'll pick up this conversation after Cahoot. My thoughts on Man United is we don't know yet. They've played a couple of teams that are in the bottom half of the table, but Casemiro has definitely improved them as well. All right, everybody ready for Cahoot? We have 7 people in there. Usman's in, Tina Turner's in, AFC Rids, Tony Shirt, Conte Syrup, Ray Andy, and Mr. Tom Bebe. Here we go. Good luck, everybody. It's an FA Cup themed Cahoot. Usman is color coded, so you pick the colors appropriate to the answers. Here we go.
Gotcha.
This Arsenal player won the FA Cup with Portsmouth in 2008. Ramsey, Wiltord, Kanu, or Perez. This Arsenal player won the FA Cup with Portsmouth in 2008. I'll put some music in about have Tony telling me he doesn't like the music. Okay, you got 5 seconds left to get your answer in. Okay, 5 correct answers. It was Kanu who joined Portsmouth and won the FA Cup. Kanu, and it was Harry. Wasn't it Harry Redknapp?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Oh, Twitchy.
All right, Usman's off to a good start. Mr. Tom is second. Mr. Tom's usually pretty strong. Stephen is in the house as well. 4th place, Tina Turner. 3rd, Conte Syrup. 5th. Long way to go. There's 9 more questions. Here we go. What is Owls versus Magpies? Sheffield United versus Newcastle. Sheffield Wednesday versus Newcastle. Bournemouth versus Newcastle. Sheffield Wednesday versus Bournemouth. What is Owls versus Magpies? And that is, of course, the mascots or the 6 correct answers. Sheffield Wednesday versus Newcastle. Sheffield Wednesday are the Owls, and they beat up on the Magpies. If you pick Sheffield Wednesday, Bournemouth, you were wrong. If you pick Sheffield United, Newcastle, you were wrong. Be careful of trick questions in here. Mr. Tom is in first, Usman second, Tina Turner third. It's still pretty close between everybody. How many FA Cups have Arsenal won? 10. I should have put 12 in there in the blue one, but 10, 10, 14, 15. Now it's kind of a 50-50, right? 14 or 15. 7 correct answers already in the house. Everybody got it correct. Arsenal won 14. Our former number 14 won the 14. Contrary to popular belief from Tony telling you Ainsley Maitland-Niles was the inspiration, it was Aubameyang. Usman's back in the lead. Mr. Tom very close. Tina Turner third. And Stevens fourth. All right. National League Wrexham won 4-3 yesterday. At what team? National League Wrexham won 4-3 yesterday. At what team? I did actually mention it earlier in the podcast. Coventry, Crawley Town, Cardiff, or Crewe Alexandria. You're all very quiet. You're all concentrated. Don't let Tom win. 3 correct answers for Coventry, 3 incorrect for Crawley Town, 2 incorrect for Cardiff. So those 3 people will separate a little bit. Mr. Tom first, Tina Turner second, Stevens up into third, Usman's in fourth place. Arsenal successfully defended their FA Cup trophy, winning it for a second time in 2 years in this year. In this year, Arsenal defended their trophy. 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. What year did we win it as?
Hey guys, I gotta go. I'll go. See you later, guys.
All right, Sam. Thank you for joining. Take care.
Cheers.
Sam's,
See you later, guys.
Sam's point.
I'm wrong.
3 correct answers in 2015. Arsenal won it for the first time in ages in 2014 and followed up and won it in 2015. 2 years later, we were winning for 3 times in 4 years against Chelsea. Tina Turner. Do you think Tina's playing? Think Tony's playing? Okay.
I didn't even know she was still alive.
What team beat Tottenham in the 1987 FA Cup final? What team beat Tottenham? Stan's reading something. West Ham.
I only know this because they beat.
I don't do these quizzes.
I only know this because they beat Leeds in the semi-final.
Ah, okay. West Ham, Charlton, Coventry, or Liverpool. We have 7 answers in the house. 5 correct answers for Coventry. I'm so happy that they did beat Tottenham. It was a great win for 2 managers at the time. Has that ever been done before? If you can you name the 2 managers, Tom?
What, for Coventry?
I
can't.
All right, let's keep going. Who won the FA Cup in 2021? Manchester City, Leicester City, Chelsea, or Liverpool?
Sensational result that was.
I'm
I'm
just
just saying
waiting for these
sensational
to
result.
play a quiz, didn't they?
What's that?
My missus asked me what I'm doing. She's beginning the laundry. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just waiting for them to finish their quiz."
5 correct answers. Leicester City. Leicester's last trophy. Leicester won, and now they're in trouble. Mr. Tom is in first place. Usman's challenging in second. Tina Turner in third place. Stephen fourth. There was a battle on for third place between Tina Turner and Stephen. Which year did Arsenal not do the double? Which year did Arsenal not do the double when winning the FA Cup? 1971, 1998, 2002, or 2005? Which year did we not do the double? That leads me to believe that we've done the double 3 times in our existence. All right, 7 correct answers for 2005.
Chelsea won the league in 2005.
Yes.
I think Arsenal came second in the league.
We beat Man United with Patrick Vieira's final kick of his career. Okay. What have we got? 2 more to go. Which team lost in successive FA Cup finals in the 1990s? Which team lost in successive FA Cup finals in the 1990s? Chelsea, Newcastle, Man United, and Tottenham. Get your answers in. 1 more question to go, Stan. All right, 4 correct answers. Newcastle, they were beaten by Arsenal
and then Man United.
Then Man United, yep. Okay. Tom separated himself again. Looks like the Leeds fan might win the Arsenal.
Boring.
Good quiz. Usman, you're in a very respectable second place. Stephen in third place. Last question will decide second place. Rids in 4th place. Rids is Rusty. Rusty Rids. Come on, Rusty Rids. Let's go. Tina Turner in 5th place. All right, final question. Which team won the 2013 FA Cup? West Ham, Wigan, Liverpool, Chelsea. We know Tom's won by now, right? Usman.
Boring.
Who won the 2013 FA Cup, Usman?
I already put my answer in.
You can answer.
Yeah, I already
What
answered.
Oh, okay. Do you want to reveal your answer? No?
No.
Then wait. Is this your first time playing, Usman?
Second time on this podcast.
Oh.
Yeah,
They
first
beat
time.
Man City 1-0.
Won.
First time live. Wigan beat Man City 1-0. Okay, FA Cup 3rd round, 2023. Stephen, you got 3rd place. Congratulations. Usman, good job, 2nd place. But the non-Arsenal fan who knows nothing about Arsenal at all, the non-supporting Arsenal fan, Leeds fan, is in 1st place. Congratulations, Tom. Did it again.
9 out of 10. Room for improvement.
Yeah. All right, Stan, it's over. What were
Thank
you reading?
fuck for that, man. I was reading. What if?
Were you reading anything good?
Is that show
What
good?
ifs?
It's the comic version. The show came
Yeah,
from
but
that.
is the show good?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, good. Some good ones in there.
All right. Let's catch up on a few comments and then we'll want to talk about
Well
a few
done, everyone.
transfers and stuff. Usman, while I'm catching up on comments, tell me your thoughts on the January window. Who do you think we're going to get? Do you want them? Or what do you think?
What I've heard so far that we are looking at João Felix, but it might look like to be a loan move, possibly with an option to buy. I'm not so sure what's going on over there. He's a player I would like to see João Felix at Arsenal. I don't feel like Atletico Madrid's playing style really suits him, nor a few other players that play at Atletico Madrid. I think they just had to get used to that playing style. I don't know if we're going to get him on a loan or possibly permanently, but I would like him. And for Makayo Mudryk, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure, but I haven't watched him play. I haven't seen any highlights of him. I'm not sure how good he is, but it seems like he really wants to join Arsenal. And judging by his action on social media, if it was one of our players that wanted to leave Arsenal, he'd get condemned. But because he's doing it because he wants to join us, somehow get a bit of praise. So I don't know how that kind of works, but
Because
it'll be
we're a
interesting
bigger
to
club.
see.
That's why. Because we're a bigger club, right? We're bigger
Yeah.
than we are.
Yeah. All I'm just
You're
going
bigger
to say
club than
is,
Shakhtar.
Yeah, we're a bigger club than Shakhtar, right?
They're
yeah.
in the Champions League
I'm
every
not
year.
gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, when you're playing in Ukraine, I don't think it's that difficult to get into the Champions League.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. We may not struggle to get into the Champions League if we played in Ukraine every year. We're not playing City. We're not playing Liverpool. We're not playing United. I think the playing style for João Felix it could be a fit for Arsenal, you know. And I think Atletico Madrid seem to be dropping the price each and every time.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Ray. I can't have you all besmirching the good name of Metalist Kharkiv.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Won't
Stan,
allow
what
it.
are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on João Felix? I'm starting to come around to it a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him. I'd like there to be an option to buy, so that we have the first dibs, so to speak, if it all works out. But they're going to have to come down in their price, right? Because I think all in all, including the loan fee and his wages, they're saying it's like 21 million for 6 months. I mean, is that where we're going now? We're just going to hire players for a short period of time. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I like him though
He
as
is
a
good.
player.
He'll be a good fit for your team because
Yeah, he's versatile as well.
I said this the other day. I thought it was on trip. He, in my opinion, he made a mistake going to Atletico Madrid because if I was a young attacking striker or forward player, the last place I would go is to a Diego Simeone team.
Yeah,
they're not going to play to your strengths.
Ill-advised, I think, that move.
Yeah, because they're a defensive unit. I mean, they're a good defensive unit, but if you're an attacking player, if you're a European Golden Boy or whatever he won, how's that going to make the best use of your abilities? Just don't think it was a good idea for him. But all the cream always finds their way to the Premier League anyway. So,
I mean, if you look at it from the beginning, like the transfer already failed before he even stepped on the pitch. They paid 120 million euros for him, even though he hasn't done much in Benfica. I feel like that was like his first. Was it like his debut season or his breakout season at Benfica? And already again, like that. First of all, credit to Benfica knowing how to get money out of teams. Like, I'm pretty sure that their academy or their recruiting system is fantastic with all that money they're getting. But not only that, with Atletico Madrid spending that much money for someone still not proven that at that point, it was just doomed to fail from the beginning. And it's not that he's bad, but it was just too much too soon. So, yeah. I didn't see much hope in him just being at Atletico Madrid.
Well, they don't play in a way that is going to make the best of an attacking young talent. And then they went and brought Luis Suarez. So, I don't know. But he'd be good in your team, I feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would be good. I'm just wondering, do we play him as a striker, or do we convert into a false 9, 4-3-3? Do we play him on the left? Move someone in striking position instead? That's the only thing I'm just wondering. If we do get him, where do we play him?
Well, the good thing about him is that he can play in all of the positions that you mentioned very comfortably. So he's very versatile. Be a bit of a Swiss Army knife for us, which I kind of like that. It doesn't mean that any one particular player is going to be missing out on a place, because he can slot in. People need to be rotated. People are going to need to be rested. It's just whether he's going to be able to settle into the British Premier League quickly. It's a very different animal to the league that he's been playing in.
All right, thanks for joining everyone who's been here. Sorry, I had to get pulled away there, but Stan kept the conversation going. Thanks for doing that. Yeah, we're in a kind of a weird place in the season right now. For me, the big game is the North London Derby. I don't know what I think you've been talking about transfers, right? Transfer business out there. We're in a weird spot right now where the FA Cup is starting. I think we're halfway through the season. Probably every team now is going to prioritize. We're going to prioritize the league and the Europa League. The FA Cup will be our third priority this season, third and last priority. And we don't know how City. I think, Tom. I think at this point in the season, when we start the cup competition the FA Cup starts. City, Man United, these type of clubs, they want to win the first couple of rounds and get settled in, and then they want to see where they are in the league, where their priorities are going to be. So that kind of gets crystallized in February, March, right? For the top tier teams.
I think you've got to keep in mind these teams have the squad depth to where even if you don't perceive they're taken seriously, they can still field players that can win these matches. And as Dan said earlier, like it's a fair point that it's not too nice when you see the teams play their second string and then in the semi-final at Wembley, Haaland's going up front. for example, but Alvarez, who scored all the goals in round 3, 4, and 5, will be on bench.
We even seen it in Leeds. Like Leeds, you have a squad there, and players have to play, and you have to find minutes for teams. And there's a player there that I don't even know about, Perkins, right? He pops up and scores that goal.
Yeah. We will depend on your definition. We essentially stole him from West Ham Academy in the summer, and then he come on Aaronson in the 86th minute, and then scored the equaliser, which was quite handy. But I mean, we stole him essentially. Yeah, that's basically what happened. But yeah, so that's football, isn't it? I mean, like teams do it to us. So as soon as we got relegated, everyone was on us for all our talent, all youth talent, and things like that. So it's just something that happens in football, isn't it?
The Assemble said, Ray, Spuds are not a big game. We need the points in the stadium. That our record isn't brilliant. We Stan, we kind of have to feel like we're not the Arsenal of old. It's like we need to turn the page here, and like you said, Stan, earlier when facing City, we have to not be the team we were in the last 10 years. We're a new Arsenal this season, and we go to Tottenham. It's a statement game, right?
Yeah, we are a very different animal, and we're the favourites when we go there. You know.
Yeah. We haven't won there in 10 years, 10 seasons.
But 9 years doesn't matter in that on the grass. I mean, you should beat them. You're top of the pile. You should beat anyone.
I know what you're saying, but following the Newcastle draw, the pressure's going to be on now. Usman, pressure's on a little bit to beat Tottenham at their place. It's an away fixture, but we don't want to add an L or a D to the draw we already had against Newcastle.
I mean, if we want to beat Tottenham in their stadium, all we have to do is go and ask West Ham how do they do it every time they get the chance to do it. Because I feel like they're like the only team in London that has gone to the stadium and either gotten a win or gotten a good result out of them. So I just asked them how they did it because we need it.
Yeah.
But yeah, all things aside, yeah, we need to take this seriously. Just forget the fact that it's in Tottenham Stadium. Just need to do something. We need to do something different if you want the impossible to happen or impossible. Yeah. So yeah, the win.
Stan, 2 huge games coming up. But look, Oxford, we should be able to take care of Oxford tomorrow. But we got Tottenham, we got Manchester United. 2 huge games that are going to form our season in a lot of ways, Stan.
It wouldn't surprise me, if we went out against Oxford. Just because the team probably won't have a lot of cohesion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about who we're going to field. I mean, is this a game where we give kids from the academy an opportunity as well? We've had a lot of young kids that have been sat on the bench for us, and it just seems like they're taking up the space on the bench because we're so short. But isn't it about time? If they're the ones sat on the bench, that means they're probably the ones that are closest to the first team. Should they get some minutes? It wouldn't surprise me if we went out against Oxford because, as you say, we may even be playing a game with a midfielder in the front three, depending on the formation that we go.
Yeah,
with.
do you think
just to save Eddie? Who knows?
Save Eddie? Would that mean a false 9, Stan?
It probably might have to be. I mean, who knows how he's going to approach this game? Who knows where he feels that this game is of importance to our season?
Yeah.
Do you know Oxford have one of our players on loan?
This is where you're setting the stage now. You're setting the stage. One of your players is going to be the upset player.
I don't even know if he's allowed to play. Like our loan players are allowed to play in the FA Cup now. They change the rules every.
I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to play against the club they're loaned from.
Yeah. Their parent club.
Okay.
If it came up against Leeds, probably wouldn't be able to play against Leeds,
But you're in Champions League, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much danger of Oxford drawing Leeds in the FA Cup this year, considering we know who their opposition would be if they did beat you.
Yeah, I'm looking for a half decent lineup as well. I think Arteta will go with a half decent lineup tomorrow night, especially after Forest last year. This is the next stage, Stan. This is the next stage in Arteta's development. We've seen a little bit of this, and I think he's been a little bit more successful. Is mixing up the team in the Europa League to get. You don't have to blow a team away. You don't have to blow FC Zurich away. We wanted that as fans. We have to pick a team that's strong enough to be able to get you through to the next round and to be able to trust in certain individuals in that lineup to step up and play. You know.
Yeah, but where do we draw from other than our first team at the moment? You know.
Well, yeah, we have a squad of
Reece Nelson's out, isn't he? It's basically Marquinhos and El Neni and maybe Sambi Lokonga and Teabag.
And Emil Smith Rowe.
Well, is he back?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Back in training. He could actually play tomorrow.
Okay.
Most likely coming from the bench, but I think it's Tom. Tom, would it be a danger to play a player that's just coming back from injury, and with all due respect to a team that's 2 leagues down, and they're probably going to be a little bit more physical? Would it be danger to put Emil Smith Rowe in there?
I wouldn't risk it, because the reality is that you have other players that should dispatch Oxford with respect to them. So the worst that could happen is he comes back and aggravates whatever injury he did have.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't do it.
With a view to having a player that could sit on the bench, we probably would need to give him some minutes. Emil Smith Rowe, and be ready for Tottenham game. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
One of those games where you've got more of the first team on the bench, and in the last 20 minutes, because it looks like we can't get a result, we're going to have to start throwing them on to try and dig us out of it.
Yeah.
That's what we did. That's what happened this afternoon.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's too little too late, isn't it?
Do it, Stan, right? There's 2 ways to do it. You go strong, you're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, and then you start taking players off, or you go weak and hope you don't have to dip
And if
into
you do that, if you have to do that, you have to start putting players on from the first team. It's not a very good indictment for the second stringer, as opposed to be, trying to give the manager something to think about and trying to, carve their way into the first team. It's just
it makes them think, well, I'm not going to make use of them in any games this season.
Yeah. We've seen an example of that at Newcastle. He plays a less than strong team at Sheffield Wednesday, and those players didn't say they wanted to be in the first team. They didn't put the performance in. Sheffield Wednesday got on top of them, had lots of chances, and Eddie Howe's there on the sideline shaking his head. We don't want that to be Arteta tomorrow evening. You know what I mean? Shaking his head on the sideline.
I think Stan said it earlier, so apologies if it turns out he didn't, or I'm imagining that he did. But if you play a half and half team, that's not a cohesive unit. So then, even though you're playing against players that are in theory inferior to your squad, they are a cohesive unit, because that is an 11 that plays with each other. They played with each other last week, they'll play next week. Whereas you're doing an experimental lineup, and that usually comes unstuck.
Yeah. The experience that teams know we're vulnerable and will target our midfield. Partey is our concern. Exactly. Partey is the concern for the whole season. And we want to extend the life of Partey throughout this season. Russ Morgan, good to see you back. Haven't seen you in a while, Russ. Does anyone think Jesus and Felix are similar type of players?
No.
I think they're different. I think
they're different.
Yeah. Felix seems more of a Dybala type player.
I've not seen him play enough to be able to answer it with, to be fair. I mean,
there's risk in in every transfer that's going to come in, there's risk involved. Mudrik's going to be risky. He looks busy. He looks like he's got pace and energy, but we don't know if he's going to be able to adapt to the league or if he has the skills involved. Felix does have the skills, but we don't know if he's going to adapt to the physicality of the Premier League. So there's lots of question marks in both players that we're targeting. I just have to place my faith in the club and that they have been targeting the right kinds of players, the right skill sets, and the right mentality of the players.
Unfortunately for Arsenal, sorry, Ray, you're in a position where maybe you can afford to spend 100 million on one player. Like, I think you probably could do it, but what you can't afford to do is get it wrong, because you won't then be able to buy another £100 million player to fix it. Like a certain team up in the blue half of Manchester, they can spend 200 million on defenders, because if Nathan Ake don't work out, we'll buy another one.
That's the reason why I don't think that we're in a place to spend about 100 million on a player for that very reason alone. Yeah, we can. We may have the actual physical money to do it, but we can't afford to do it because, like Mr. Tom says, if it don't work out, mate, we're stuffed. And there's a part of me that really wants Mudryk, right, to go to Chelsea for $1 gazillion and it not work out.
Yeah, Todd Bowley splash the cash. It'll be a bit like Martinez at Manchester United. We pushed them into paying over the odds. He's been pretty decent for them, but he hasn't set the world alight. You mentioned paying a lot of money for Arsenal. Manchester United paid a lot of money for Anthony and other players. Now they've backed out of the João Felix deal and have signed Weghorst from Burnley as well.
Really?
Burnley.
Yeah. Wout de Weghorst from Burnley.
The reality is, though, he's the sort of player who he's always going to have value because you can always lump the ball up to him. Like, no matter what type of football you play, there will being a unreasonably tall striker will never go out of fashion.
The Peter Crouches of this world.
Exactly. There will always be a use for a player like that for someone, no matter what football you play.
Us Arsenal fans, all of us talk about, well, some of us talk about a plan B. I don't think any teams really employ the plan B. Any of the top teams really employ a plan B as such. You know, plan B being maybe the tall striker. Manchester trying to do plan B with Haaland with mixed results right now. But that just shows you the resources and all was there. Manchester United's owners are not going to allow them to go into a João Felix deal. And whether we do this deal for João Felix or not, we're going to probably attach ourselves to a player for a lot of money. And we need to be careful. We need to pick the right player as well.
That's it. That's it. You need to get it right. You need to get your scouting needs to be, what's the saying, on point.
On point.
As Anne said, you can't afford to, if you get it wrong this year, you can't go and spend the same money next year. You have to pick someone and go, you're the guy for 4 or 5 years. That's it.
See, I think we're really in our crossroads. In our season, we're at a crossroads right now. Coming to halfway through the season, we have options to buy certain players for a lot of money, and we need to make the right choice. We don't want to do it. Darwin Núñez, he's been pretty decent, but he's getting slagged off. He's getting a lot of bad press. The Assembly said, does anyone think that our system allows for variety in the type of player we buy? I don't think so. I think we have a pretty rigid way of playing, and it's not going to change. It's a possession-based way of playing, and we're looking for the players to mesh into that. Dred Zeppelin, nice name there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. So, anyone else got thoughts on who we're targeting, the style of play, anything like that? Stan?
Well, I was listening to something yesterday, and apparently this report was saying that Mudryk is now having second thoughts about considering Chelsea as a destination and is conflicted. And I can't remember what site it was, but I think it was a Chelsea-based site that just popped up. I didn't realise it was a Chelsea-based site until afterwards. But yeah, just that's all I know really about all of that. I'm getting pretty fed up of hearing his name, to be honest. You know what I mean?
I think, Stan, it's going to rumble on. It's not going to be done quickly. And
That's
Shakhtar,
why I dread January.
Shakhtar are trying to get the best bang for their buck that they can get. You know, Arsenal are trying to play the waiting game, and really, we'd like them for the North and the Derby. We'd like them for the United game, but we may not have a player in by then.
Is Mudryk going to get his head turned by a big bag of money?
Not the way, as Usman says, he's been twerking all over social media for Arsenal.
But he's now said to be, you know, having second thoughts and considering Chelsea because, you know, he wants to be in the Premier League, ideally with Arsenal. But, I mean, if Arsenal get priced out of it or refuse to go into any kind of a bidding war with Chelsea, which is what you keep hearing, what's his, you know, can he force a move directly to Arsenal and say, I'm not signing for Chelsea, I don't care if you're talking to him?
And Mikel Arteta's recent press conference, he says he never talks about players, but he did say something. Generally speaking, if a player wants to go to a club, he generally gets to go to the club he wants to. And Mr. Tom knows that firsthand from the summer deal with Rafinha. You know, Rafinha had Arsenal, had Chelsea, and he had Barcelona. And at various points in the saga, Arsenal and Chelsea seem to have the upper hand and seem to be winning the day. But
Leeds got the money that they wanted though for the player, so they were happy. And Shakhtar, you know, want 88 million, and Arsenal are only going to put together a package of 65, and Chelsea will give them what they want. Then maybe that kind of like seals it.
My feeling,
the club. No, go on, Ray. It's fine.
Well, my feeling quickly is that the deal, the amount of money Arsenal are willing to pay, is acceptable. It's just how much they want up front. It's the structure of the deal. And what do I know? I don't know anything about it, but that's my feeling on it. Tom?
I was going to say, like, allegedly, like Chelsea were willing to pay 60 million for Rafinha, and I think we're only getting like 50 off Barcelona only. But I think the club wanted Chelsea to. We accepted Chelsea's offer, but we accepted it knowing he was going to say no because he knew where he wanted to go.
But can that happen, Mr. Tom? Can that actually work? If a player's under a contract and two clubs are looking at him and the player wants to go to one, but the other club is putting in more money, can the player turn around to his club and say, but I'm not going to go there. I don't care. I want to go to the other club.
I'm guessing that's what happened. Because like, it will sound silly, but I know on Football Manager, you can literally go, you're offering more, we'll accept that. You are not offering more, I'm not accepting it. Which seems like a common sense thing to do, but at the same time, he's turned around and gone, I scored the goal that kept you in the Premier League. I'd quite like to go to the team I wanted to play for since I was a child. And we're like, fine, what's 10 million between friends? I mean, you know, just...
Here's the thing, though. The assembled, in my opinion, someone should have been brought in already. Do you want a player or do you want the right player? Do you know what I mean?
We actually had a player we signed come on the sub today. Defender from
was that
Salzburg.
Yeah, that was the guy who almost got a red card right at the end. He was quite lucky. Studs.
It didn't matter by that point.
But
in Leeds, that's a love tap.
But here's my thing. The club has identified the right player. Who are we to say they should just get somebody in, anybody in? I don't think that's the right approach. We are now in this position because we started to bring players in that have been identified and the right players that we've identified. We're not top of the league by accident. It's been a case of slowly developing the team, Stan, Erdegaard comes in first, and
Yeah.
he comes in on a loan and he plays reasonably well. And we want to keep him, and we start building into that summer where we get Ramsdale, we get Ben White.
Or was it though? He came in on loan. I thought he'd done reasonably good, and at the end of that loan period, people wanted Buendia, and I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. He
Really?
wasn't
Really?
playing. Erdegaard was not playing to the level that he is playing now. Like he was pretty much
Better than
Right.
Danny Ceballos.
yeah, definitely. But it's all started with identifying the right players. And Ben White came in. We had a long saga with Brighton to get him for 50 million,
Yeah.
and you can't say it was a bad transfer now. I don't really think we should just go get anyone.
No.
These symbols said obviously the right player. What if the right player is Mudryk? What if the right player is João Felix? You know, do you want us to get off of those targets and go for someone else? I don't think we should. We have the whole month of January to do this, and Arsenal fans are going to be getting nervous and they want to get a player in, but you got to get the right player, and it's got to be for the right fee, and we got to feel like it's not going to be another Pepe situation, you know?
Yeah, but then again, as you say, if the fee isn't right, then he's not the right player. Do you see what I'm getting at? There's loads of factors of why somebody would be the right player.
Yeah.
Can they play in a position that you want and do all of the things on the pitch that you want? Yeah. But is he a bit of a dick off of the pitch? Yeah. Also, yeah. Then he's not the right player. Do you see what I mean?
It comes down to trust, right, Stan?
I mean, I honestly think that the money that I'm not saying the money that we're going to spend, but the money that Shakhtar want for Mudryk, I think we could get two players for that amount.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the two players could be right players as well. There are other deals out there. I honestly don't know why we're so wed to this kid who's only played 40 odd games in the Ukraine, flashes in the Champions League notwithstanding. Obviously, there's a little disclaimer there, but I don't understand why we're really wetting our pants over this guy. I'm not saying he's crap. I'm not saying that he hasn't got any skills, but I mean, it really, to me, seems like a risk. And the only thing that's kind of like there for me is how much I've got in the bank for Mikel Arteta and I do at the moment. But I still have a memory, you know. I still remember people like Willian. I ain't forgotten. Mistakes can be made, but it depends on the size of the mistake, you know. If you're only paying 10 million for someone and it's a mistake, then you can maybe live with that. But if you're paying out, you know, upwards of 65 million and it's a mistake, then it just turns into another Nicola Pepe.
Yeah.
And I'm quite worried about it. And I've not seen anyone, you know, usually with a protracted transfer, you know, usually you would see a group of the fan base going, "Oh, stop dragging your heels, Arsenal. Just give them what they want. Give them what they want." But I'm seeing people being very more reserved on this Mudryk one. I'm not seeing people going, "Just throw the money at him. He's worth it." I've seen people like Biek is saying, you know, people seem a little bit.
Is that because every Arsenal fan realizes that Shakhtar are asking for too much money? So we're not going to say just give them, because they're asking for 100 million.
But also what Mr. Tom said earlier, we are not in a position to make a mistake to the tune of 80 odd million. If we get this wrong, there's no coming back from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You end up selling him for about 35 or 40.
Yeah. It's going to be that albatross around Arteta's neck that Pepe was for the previous regime.
Have you sold Pepe, or is he on loan?
Still on loan.
Yeah.
So you've not even got rid of that mistake yet. I mean, that's still on.
We're trying to boost his value to something like 20-25 million, and that's probably the best we're going to get out of it. You know, net 50.
I admit, this time last year I'd have took him, because like you just said, he's clearly not been great. He's been dog shit for 70 million. But I reckon if he came to my team for 10, 20, we'd get a job out of him. Yeah. Because again, as it was said, our aspirations are different to yours. So if he does things that kept my team in the Premier League, it's a success.
The thing with Pepe is I've always believed you would get production out of him. And we did get production out of him. We got goals, we got assists. But we didn't get the work rate that Arteta demands from that position.
Mhm.
The structure, right? All the things that we've built upon. Look at us 3 years ago. We were getting peppered. Our goal was getting peppered. 30 shots on goal. The things you've seen happening to Liverpool, that was us 3 years ago. Now it's happening to Liverpool because we don't have that. We didn't have that structure, that solid base to build upon. And Pepe wasn't the sole reason, but he was one of the players that wasn't working to Arteta's like that he liked. You know what I mean? To his liking. So anyway, I think we will round it up pretty soon. We're coming to the end of things. Stan, you got any more points to be made?
Not really, but on another note, in an alternate universe, I've actually bankrupted Arsenal. That's what I put it out there. Literally broken the club. So I'll explain more. I got rid of my Xbox Game Pass subscription thing, so I could no longer access FIFA 22. So I dug in my box looking for anything I had as a physical copy, and I had a FIFA 20 on physical that I hadn't played in ages. And I remembered that I got to my 7th season on FIFA 20, and I got to this stage where I had Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, but regenerated into the game as youngsters. And that's where I'd left off. So I put it in there about a week ago. It was late at night, bleary-eyed, had a few beers, and I bought a young fullback who could play right back and left back. I thought he'll come in really handy. I need that guy. He's only 19 years old. And I stuck it on again yesterday, obviously now clearer-headed. And I thought, let's just go into the squad hub and see if there's any players that need their contracts renewing. And I clicked on the tab to see what people's wages were. And I had to rub my eyes. Right at the top of the list, there was somebody getting paid 2.5 million a week. And I'm like, what? I only fucking signed this young kid, right? And I must have gone for the, like the signing on fee or whatever. And I've just done it wrong. And I'm paying this kid 2.5 million a week. I've got Mbappe on the team, and he's only getting 700 grand a week.
Haaland's probably not even getting 2.5 a week.
I can't renegotiate with him because it keeps saying you've only just renegotiated with him, so I'm stuck. I put him on the transfer list, and I keep trying to buy anybody and put him as part of the deal.
How would you renegotiate with him though? I mean, he'd only want more.
Surely, I know. I was going to see whether I could try and because he's only 19, and every time I try to sign, I've been trying to sign other players and put him as part of the deal, and the other manager keeps on saying, they keep saying we're not interested in that player. We either want a midfielder or a fullback. I'm like, he's a fucking fullback.
Expensive one.
It's ruined my save. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't continue paying this kid 2.5. No wonder he never plays yet. His morale, the little morale face you get. You even see the fucking size of the smile on it, mate.
He's Cedric Suarez.
Because the checks are going through at the moment.
Yeah. He's Cedric in our squad. That reminds me of Usman. I think Rob Holding was talking to Lacazette. He said, Lacazette was like, I really miss Arsenal. It's a really well-run club. It's a nice place. And he told Rob Holding, stick around for a bit longer because the grass isn't always greener on the other side, And we still have players. We still have work to be done. But some players, they get paid too much, and they start to like the scenery. They start to like the check coming in. And
let me just answer that from Thunder Road. Thunder Road says, releasing Stan. When I click the release tab, it tells you how much it's going to cost. He's on a 4-year contract.
You have to pay the contract.
£187 million to get rid of him.
That's like Aubameyang.
187 million. The only good thing is I've got over $1 billion in the kitty. I've got over $1 billion, and I'm thinking, should I just cut my losses on 200 million? I just can't do that though.
No, just sell him.
He can't sell him. That's the thing. He can't sell him.
I put him on. I'm allowed. I put him on.
Get rid of him for free.
I put him on a transfer list, but it's like another 6 weeks away to January, and there's no guarantees anyone's going to buy him. There's no guarantee.
No one's going to buy him, but it's the only way you'll actually get rid of him without paying him the money.
Look, if you're being honest, the most realistic thing that Stan can do is just pay out. He has to pay out his contract. Get him out of the club.
187 million.
Listen, if you
This
don't
is-
do it, you're going to continue paying him, and the other players will be like, "All right, hold on, Gaffer. This lad's getting paid millions per week. We're doing what? So what? So what on the pitch? We deserve to get that similar amount of money."
His
So
overall rating is 77.
Sorry, Stan, you've mismanaged
my
the whole
God.
situation, Stan.
I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
This is
I'm
your
sorry.
fault,
I
man.
played FIFA.
You've
I
you've
played FIFA
raised
for
the-
years. Listen, I
You've
played FIFA
destroyed
for
the wage
years. I've
structure.
done that. Okay. Okay.
No, but it's FIFA 20, and I don't think they have that thing yet where the
You're
the
gonna
board,
get-
because the board have said nothing. The board didn't say, "Are you sure about this?" Nobody alerted me. No one said nothing.
You're
And
gonna
I've
get called.
played about 3 or 4 games since I've done that. A lot of the players, all their morales are good.
You're
So
gonna
that's
get
one
called
thing.
Stan Kroenke if you keep doing this, Stan. You know,
2.5 million a fucking
mismanaging
league.
contracts. You're a Kroenke.
Go to real life example. This happened in real life. Chelsea in the year 2000 signed Winston Bogarde of the
Yeah.
Holland national team to a
Yeah.
4-year contract, and he basically earned 16 million in that 4 years, something like that, 16, 15 million.
Wow.
And cut a long story short, they changed their manager in not long after they bought him, and the new manager had no interest in playing him, and they spent years trying to get him to basically take a buyout or transfer, and he basically said, I'm whatever age, let's say he was 32, whatever it was, so I'm 32-year-old, no one is going to give me the contract that you gave me. I will not accept a buyout because I'm entitled to the money. And to make it even better, he didn't down tools. He although he lived in Holland, he would actually make sure to turn up to training or any club function where his presence was legally required as part of the squad. He would turn up to everything. He would do everything that was asked of him, and he'd collect his money and then go home for 4 years.
Yeah.
Because they had no interest in playing him. And he was like, I did everything so I could not be fired for breach of contract. Took
Yeah.
my
At least he
15
was
million
respectful.
and retired.
At least he's respectful.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
So
no,
Stan-
I'll never read any. You'll never read part of it which says like he did anything wrong because he never.
So, Stan, what did you learn from your error there? Your management style.
I should have gone to bed that night. It would have never have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
I hadn't sat up
Bogarde,
that night. That would not have happened.
Bogarde was what a blunder. He got into bodybuilding. Yeah, okay. Listen, real life lesson here is you got to manage the contracts within your football club. And if you see a poorly run football club, then they're not being successful on the team on the pitch as well. And we've seen that on our own club, and we now see it through other clubs looking down from the top of the league where we are sat at the top of the perch. And the moral from this month is Arteta and Edu have to make the right choices in terms of spending. Whether you spend a lot of money or not, I don't know what the alternatives are assembled out there, but we did talk about Trossard. Mitoma looks like a decent player from Brighton. Brighton seems to be a good. Yeah, we're rolling it up anyway. So Usman, give me your final thoughts. It was good to have you on. I don't know if you satisfied or you scratched the itch talking about everything Arsenal today, but I hope we helped you do that.
Yeah, it was a good session. I was glad to be on here. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. One thing I do want to mention, since there was conversation about the concern of Thomas Partey, I was thinking, well, not that many players available to go and get. I was thinking there's this one Frank Yannick Kessié in Barcelona. Apparently Xavi's not his biggest fan, and he probably doesn't want him at the team. So thinking, if somehow, some way, like there was an opportunity for us to go and get him, I would like him. But if not possible, there's one player that plays for AS Monaco called Youssouf Fofana, who recently got into the French national team for the World Cup. I don't know if he was actually part of the selection or he was brought in because someone was injured. But I think he's kind of someone we should look at if we're going to get cover for Partey. Yeah.
What's his
Yusuf
name?
Fofana.
That Fofana? Hadn't he signed for Chelsea?
Yusuf Fofana. No. There's another one. He was a centre back that signed for Chelsea from Monaco.
Mhm.
Okay.
He played the final.
Lots of
96-minute sub.
lots of us that talked about Barcelona and they're in financial difficulties, and yes, there's certain players we could go and target. I think Stan has mentioned Ferran Torres as well as being one of them. We'll see what happens there. Tom, final thoughts, and we'll say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on, despite my lack of Arsenalness.
Well, you did win.
Always a
You did
pleasure.
win the quiz. You did win the quiz, so you do
He always
know.
wins the quiz.
He knows. He's an Arsenal fan, Arsenal supporter in a Leeds shirt.
Well, either way, it was a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for everyone for taking part in Challenge Tom on Kahoot. No, sorry, I'm joking. It was no, seriously. But at least it's proven that I don't Google the answers during the Kahoot. So just say.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank to everyone that takes the time to respond and watch the show. It's awesome of you. Commenting, especially the people in England when they could be doing more important things probably with their families, but they're like, no, I'd rather sit and watch Arsenal fans talk shit. Plus,
Yeah.
So, anyway, seriously,
For
have a good week,
me,
everyone.
for me, it almost feels like, well, Arsenal haven't played so far this weekend, but it feels like Arsenal are not playing this weekend to me, because the North London derby in the league is firmly in my sights. It feels like a little bit of a lull before the main action starts again, but we do have a game tomorrow against Oxford.
Do we know where we could actually watch this game tomorrow?
ESPN probably.
Because I'm looking at ESPN and I don't see it on there.
I think I saw it earlier. You can watch it on ESPN, yes.
In England, it's on ITV.
ESPN.com.
If you're able to get that.
Yeah, ESPN. You know, the ones with the horrible
I'm on
former,
ESPN. I don't see it.
the Craig Burleys of this world, and the all the ones that hate Arsenal. But everybody hates Arsenal, right?
Is there not an ESPN Plus?
As Gary says, they hate us because they ain't us. You know?
Wow.
Or they hate us because it's fun to hate us.
Right? You know when they start hating us again, Usman? It's when we're getting good. We're getting pretty good at this stuff called football.
Generally, although I find Arsenal results, whatever happens, I'll get entertainment out of it. Because I'm like, if you win, most of my friends are happy. If they don't win, then I'll just sit back and watch the comedy unfold. So
yeah. And either way, Richard Keys has something to say. Either way. Whether we win or lose or we draw. All right.
He's obsessed.
Anything else, Dan?
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm looking at ESPN Plus. I don't see it.
All right. I'll check it out in a little bit. I'll let you know.
All right.
It was nice meeting you too, Mr. Usman.
All right. Usman, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
Stan, thanks for being here as always.
Thank you.
From the bedside. And Tom from the dungeon. I'm really, really glad that Leeds are still in the hat. And they're going to face Atkins.
Yeah, until we play Bournemouth. Yeah, that's fine.
Who's going to win, Bournemouth or Atkins and Stanley?
I'll be watching the replay for sure.
All right. Thanks for watching. Everybody hit the like, subscribe if if you're new around here, and share the link and all that good stuff. Until next time, we'll see you out there. Come on, you winners, let's beat Oxford tomorrow. And thankfully Leeds got there.